Hi, this is McCoy Buck, and in this video we're going to be putting our character together by parenting the bones to the images. So first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this joint outline that I have. So I'm simply just going to highlight and click it. It's going to bring me to the joint image layer. I'm going to hide that and then just lock that. So now that is out of the way. So one of the really cool things about Nima that is really streamlined is the ability to be able to parent the image to the bone. So the first set of bones that I'm going to rig to show how easy it truly is to rig your character is this right arm bone. So if I click on this bone, you can see it's going to highlight that bone inside of our hierarchy. But now using the keyboard shortcut C, I can now set my children. So the children for this bone is going to be the arm. That's what I want to parent it to. So I'm going to click on that image layer. Now you can see with that image layer selected, I now can hit done. And now when I go to rotate the arm with R on the keyboard, you can see that that arm bone is now rotating. Now because of our bone parenting, you can see that the rest of the arm is also following. So the next step that I'm going to do is I'm going to hop into this bone. Now with that bone selected, I'm going to hit C on the keyboard to set my children. Now with this bone selected, I'm now going to highlight all the image layers to parent to this bone. So first I'm going to click on this main hand. Holding down shift, I'm going to click on the fingers and the thumb. And now if I did all that correctly, I'm going to hit done and it should move with this forearm bone. And as you can see, it does. And that is how easy it is to rig a Nima. So now that you see how easy it is to rig, let's go ahead and rig the rest of the body. I'm going to start with the torso. Now, if you're new to rigging, this part might seem a little bit difficult. It might seem like you would want to take this torso bone and bind everything that you see here to this bone. But watch what happens when I do. With the torso bone selected, I'm going to hit C on the keyboard and I'm going to parent the top torso and the bottom torso in his pelvis area. Now watch what happens when I hit done. You can see that I can't rotate the torso and the pelvis separately. So what I need to do is I need to select the root bone and hit C on the keyboard to select my children, and I'm going to select this pelvis area. Now I just parented both of the torso and the pelvis, but now if I parent the pelvis to the root bone, it's going to override what was parented to the torso. However, because I'm not changing the selection of the torso, the upper torso will still be parented to this upper bone. So now I'm going to click on done. And now when I rotate the torso bone, you can see that the pelvis is staying in place. Let's go ahead and do the same for our other arm. I'm going to hit C on the keyboard. I'm going to select the arm and hit done. Again, I'm going to select the bone, hit C on the keyboard, select the hand, the thumb, and the 3 fingers holding down shift. So now you can really see the power behind Nima and how quick it is. Again, let's do the same for the leg. So I'm going to select the leg. Now, if you have any of the layers in the way and you can't get to the actual leg, you can actually come here to your hierarchy and hide the different images so that you can see, like in this case, I would hide the hand so I can see my leg. But you can also see as I'm hovering, I can also highlight the images. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to hit C on the keyboard and I'm going to look for that leg, and there it is right there. So I'm going to click it. And now I'm going to hit done. And now real quick, just to test it, you can see that it parented that bone to the correct layer. Now I'm going to do the same for the rest of the leg. So I'm going to click on this bone right here. I'm going to hit C on the keyboard and I'm going to select both of these parts of his leg. I'm going to hit done. And I'm going to do the same for the foot. Select that and done. So now if I did everything correctly, I can see that everything is parented as it should be. And for this other leg, I'll do that really quick. All right, now to test that, make sure everything is working. Great, everything's parented. Now the same thing will be done for the top portion. So we have our neck and we have our head. Now the head, as you can see, consists of quite a few different assets. So we'll select the head, the visor, the earpiece, the eye, the hair, and the front hair, and the main portion of the hair. And now I'm going to hit done. And to see if everything was parented properly, I'm going to rotate that. And you can see behind the head that there are some parts that aren't attached. Now what we can do is we can take all of these images and drag them into the proper bone to be parented. Now one thing that I want you to see as this was all happening is all of the bones, as the image layers were being dragged into them, you can see that they were taking on the name of that image layer. So that is something that Nima already does for you. So you don't have to go through and name each one of the bones. Nima will actually take the first set of layers, and the top layer on that hierarchy will be named that certain bone. Again, this is something that Nima does for you to make the process completely smooth and efficient as possible. So right here we have this one called visor bone. You can easily double click your layers if you need to change any one of the names and simply give it the new name. So now, because I know my head is going to contain all of the hair layer, the head, the visor, and everything else, I'm going to take these last images that are up here that I need to parent to this bone. So I'm simply going to select the image, hold shift, select the last bit, and I'm going to drag that into the head bone. Now I'm going to select my stage. I'm going to hit F on the keyboard to go ahead and center everything and start testing out my rig just to make sure that everything is working as it should. Awesome, and it looks like it is. So everything seems to be working as it should. One thing that I want to mention, because one of the important things that you need to keep in mind is while you're in setup mode, anytime that I move these bones around, unless I undo that movement, it's going to stay in that position. So if I was moving all of my bones around and I have them all set up all crazy like, that is going to be my default setup pose when I start animating. So if I want to have a default pose, I'm simply just going to undo with Control Z if I make any changes to the setup. And that is how you parent your bones to layers in Nima. In the next video, we're going to focus on what's called IK targets. And this is going to come in handy when we want to keep our feet planted on the ground while the rest of the body is moving around. As always, if you have any questions, be sure to ask them, and I will see you in the next video.